The early morning sun cast a golden glow on the small garden in front of the freshly painted, pale yellow house. The sweet scent of jasmine and roses, which I had planted myself, drifted on the breeze. A refreshing start to the new day. I stood watering my flowers, a sense of peace blooming in my heart, an unconscious smile on my face. This was the tranquility I had longed for my entire life. The sound of a truck pulling up to the curb made me turn. Ethan, a tall man in a clean, crisp shirt, was cutting the engine. In his hand, he held a small basket of fresh fruit. He was the new lead engineer at the textile mill where I worked. "Good morning, Grace," he greeted me with a warm smile. "You have a beautiful garden." "Good morning, Ethan." "Thank you," I invited, my voice friendly. "Come on in for a moment." We sat and talked on the wooden bench under the shade of a large oak tree. Our conversation was simple and natural about work, the weather, and the plants I loved so much. The look in his eyes was filled with sincerity and respect. To have reached this day, I had to endure a hurricane, a storm I once thought would tear my entire world apart, forever. 5 months earlier, on a dreary evening in November, when the sky was a bruised purple and the air was thick and heavy, I pushed open the old wooden gate and stepped onto the property. Darkness was beginning to settle over the small community on the outskirts of Millfield, a factory town in North Carolina. The neighbor's dog barking was a familiar, daily sound. The cold that had taken root in my heart was a chill far deeper than any winter frost. After a full 8-hour shift at the textile mill, my body ached so much I could barely stand. The drone of the industrial sewing machine still buzzed in my ears, and my hands trembled from the constant vibration. In the small foyer of the house, the mud-caked work boots belonging to Kevin, my boyfriend, were kicked off haphazardly. His used t-shirt was slung over the back of a chair instead of hanging in the closet. From the kitchen, the faint smell of something burning wafted out, accompanied by the blare of the television. "Kevin, I'm home," I called out, pulling off my own damp boots. Finally, his voice shot back, laced with irritation. "The casserole is burnt, and the chili bubbled over. Why was the bus so late?" he grumbled on. "And why didn't you just turn the stove off?" "What? Am I supposed to watch the kitchen now, too? You're the one who stays home. You deal with it." I walked into the kitchen, exhausted. A familiar scene of chaos greeted me. The mess he had created. The chili I had left warming for him had boiled over, its dark red sauce staining the stovetop. Dishes from breakfast were still piled in the sink. On the dining table, breadcrumbs and an empty ramen noodle packet were left where he'd eaten. Kevin was sprawled on the old couch, his back to me, eyes glued to the TV screen. His tank top was stained, and he was wearing mismatched socks. "Here we go again," I thought, lifting the scorched casserole dish. "It's like this every single day." I worked 8 hours at the mill, my back aching from hunching over the sewing machine, my eyes blurry from focusing on tiny stitches. But he was home all day. He couldn't even watch a pot on the stove. "Why are you so quiet?" Kevin turned to look at me. He had gained a noticeable amount of weight over the past year. His belly strained the fabric of his shirt. His unshaven face was set in a scowl. "You come home with a face like a sour lemon." "I'm not. I'm just tired." Tired? You think I'm not tired? I work at the garage, too. You know, fixing heavy machinery. You expect me to come home and cook and clean on top of that? I never asked you to cook, Kevin. But the dinner I made for you, couldn't you just keep an eye on it? Oh, stop nagging. You just walked in the door. Don't ruin the mood. I began clearing the table, my hands still shaky from fatigue. It had been a long day. My supervisor, Brenda, had been yelling at everyone on the floor. Production quotas were up, but our paycheck stayed the same. How much has he changed in 3 years? I wondered, scraping dirty plates into the sink. I remember when he was so attentive. He'd bring me flowers, whisper sweet things. "Grace, baby, we're gonna build a future together. I'll give you a life like a fairy tale." He used to help with chores, even planted this little garden for me. But now, washing a single dish seemed like a monumental effort for him. "Kevin, the water pump is broken again," I said. "We'll have to fix it this weekend." "The pump again?" Kevin exploded. "You know my back is killing me. My old injury is acting up. So how are we supposed to get water? Are we going to have to haul buckets from the rain barrel all winter? Then hire a plumber? You have money, don't you? I see you working yourself to the bone. What money? Kevin, you know what I make. $14 an hour. And you think I'm a millionaire? My mom just called yesterday. When are you going to stop wasting your money on other people and start thinking about your own future? She said. I froze. Here it comes. I thought. His mother. After every call with Sharon, Kevin became more irritable, more critical. He never used to listen to her like this. I thought. A pang of hurt in my chest. When we first moved in together, he argued with her to defend me. He used to say, Mom, Grace is a good woman. Stay out of our business. But now, every time his mother called, it was like poison. Her voice seemed to come directly from his mouth. Is your mother trying to turn you against me? I asked softly. My mother is smart. She's seen the world. She knows how to judge people. And she's right. You've been spoiled. You think a man is supposed to do everything for you? I never thought you had to do everything. But sometimes we could help each other. I work my butt off at that garage. I come home covered in grease for pennies. And you? You sit there sewing buttons on a machine. That's a cushy job. A cushy job? I turned to face him. You try sitting at that machine for 8 hours. Your shoulders turn to stone. Your back burns like fire. And by the end of the day, your eyes are bloodshot. Don't be so dramatic. Look at Ms. Carol next door. She works in her garden all day, and you don't hear her complaining. Ms. Carol is 10 years younger than me. I'm 32. Kevin. Oh, finally remembering your age. Are you? Getting old. No wonder you look so miserable all the time. What man wants a woman with a face like that? I turned away. Toward the window. Outside. A cold wind was starting to blow. The neighboring houses were lit up. I could see Ms. Carol's silhouette in her kitchen. She was probably making dinner for Mr. Gene, the loving husband who had cherished her their whole lives. Why do I put up with this? I asked myself. The pain sharp. My own mother had warned me. Grace, honey, don't get involved with a mama's boy. They never grow up. But I didn't listen. I thought love could change anything. I thought for me, he would become a responsible adult. Are you going to make dinner, or are you just going to stand there staring out the window all night? Kevin demanded. I'll make it. What else can I do? Good. You've been getting lazy lately. Mom says, you gotta keep a woman on a short leash, or she'll walk all over you. I opened the refrigerator. There were some potatoes, an onion, and a small piece of pork, enough for a simple stir-fry. I started peeling the potatoes. The dull knife made it difficult. The next day, Tuesday, began with fresh criticism. This coffee is like dishwater. Kevin grumbled after breakfast, sipping from his mug. Are we running out of coffee grounds? Yes. I'll buy more today. And where are you getting the money? Or are you going to be cheap with me again? I'm not being cheap. There's just not much left from my paycheck. You never have any money. Maybe you should find a better job. One that pays a decent salary. This is the only mill in the area. Otherwise, I'd have to commute into the city every day. And that would cost even more. Well, that's your problem. My mom says, a smart woman finds a solution. She doesn't just sit around whining to her husband. Your mom again. I couldn't take it anymore. I suppose she's planned out our whole lives for us by now. Don't you raise your voice when you talk about my mother. Kevin flared up instantly. She wants what's best for me. Unlike some people. And does she want what's best for me? And who are you? You're just an outsider. Living off her son. Those words, they were like a slap across the face. Something constricted in my chest. A physical pain. An outsider, so the past 3 years meant nothing. Every meal I'd cooked. Every shirt I'd washed. Every time I cleaned this house, it was all for nothing. To him, I was still just an outsider. Wednesday was particularly rainy. I came home from work to find the walkway from the gate to the house unswept. A thick layer of wet leaves was piled up, almost ankle deep. Kevin, the walkway needs to be swept, I said, shaking rain from my coat. The mailman will have trouble getting through tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. Or on the weekend. It's not going anywhere. There will be even more tomorrow. The news said a storm is coming. So what? It's not going to rot. We can live with it. But what will the neighbors think? Every other house has a clean walkway. But ours, I don't care what the neighbors think. People send emails now. And old folks shouldn't be wandering around other people's property anyway. I went to find the rake. I found it in the storage shed, buried under a pile of old junk. The wooden handle was cold to the touch, even through my gloves. Again, I have to do it alone again. I thought bitterly. Walking out to the front of the house. I have to do everything myself. Was this how I was going to grow old? Working, cooking, cleaning. While he lay on the sofa, giving orders. The wet leaves were heavy. The rake scraped against the concrete with difficulty. My back immediately began to ache. My arms quickly grew tired. But I kept my head down and continued to sweep, just as I always did. Well, Grace, why are you doing that all by yourself? Miss Carol, my neighbor, called out from behind her fence. Where's Kevin? He's inside, his back hurts. I lied. Oh, right. Miss Carol nodded, though her tone was skeptical. A young man like that, always with a bad bag. Strange, isn't it? I kept sweeping. A mixture of shame and resentment building in my chest. How embarrassing. I thought in anguish. All the neighbors see me slaving away out here, while he's inside, comfortable and warm, watching TV. What must they think of me? What took you so long? Kevin asked when I came back inside. My hands raw with blisters. It's just sweeping a few leaves. There were a lot of leaves. And they were heavy. Whatever. You always have an excuse. Other women don't complain. Other women have husbands who help them. Don't you lecture me. I know what I have to do. Thursday was a repeat of the same story. I cleaned the house alone. I cooked dinner alone. I washed clothes by hand in cold water alone. Maybe I should just leave. I thought as I hung up one of Kevin's damp shirts. My brother, Kyle, had invited me to stay with him several times. Grace, why are you torturing yourself? Come stay with us. We'll figure something out. But how could I just leave my house? Leave everything behind? My whole life was here. Why the long face again? Kevin asked that evening, noticing my pensive mood. You look like you've been sucking on a lemon. It's nothing. It is something. You're sour. I saw a woman in town today. Bright. Cheerful. That's the kind of woman men like. Not some miserable housewife. Where did you see her? On the bus, it doesn't matter where. I'm just telling you. Telling me what? Oh, for God's sake. Stop picking apart every word I say. Friday morning. I was gathering the dirty laundry as usual. In the pocket of Kevin's jeans, I felt a crinkling piece of paper. I pulled it out. It was folded into a small square. I unfolded it and saw. It was a receipt from a dive bar downtown. On the back, in bubbly, feminine handwriting, was the name Amber, along with a phone number and a short message, call me. My heart dropped into my stomach. Amber, the name swirled in my head. Who is she? Is she that cheerful woman from the bus? Call me. That meant they had already made plans to meet. What are you doing over there? Kevin yelled from the bathroom. Just getting the laundry. I answered, my voice trembling as I hid the note in the pocket of my own robe. And make sure you use enough detergent this time. The last load was still dirty. Stains everywhere. I stood in the middle of the room, feeling as if my world was collapsing. So, he had someone else. This was the reason he was so irritable with me all the time. This was why his mother kept pushing. So I would get fed up and leave on my own, to make way for someone new. My hands shook as I loaded the washing machine. My heart hammered in my chest. How much longer can I take this? I thought. How much more of his disrespect can I endure? He's out meeting other people. And I'm still here, waiting, hoping he'll come to his senses. What's wrong with you? You're standing there like a statue. Kevin said, walking out of the bathroom, toweling himself dry. Do the laundry. Stop daydreaming. I'm doing it. I whispered back, but I knew in my heart my patience had reached its limit. Like a rope pulled taut, ready to snap at the slightest touch. Friday evening ended as usual, with a silent dinner and Kevin's complaints about the soup being too salty. I went to bed with a heavy heart. Amber's note still in my robe pocket, like a hot coal ready to burn me. Saturday morning started early. I was startled awake by the sound of the front door closing. Kevin must have gone out for cigarettes. I sat up in bed and took out the damning piece of paper. What should I do about this? I tortured myself. Should I cause a huge scene? But what if he said she was just an acquaintance? Or what if he admitted it and left me for her? Either option was terrifying. But what was even more terrifying was living with the uncertainty and suspicion. At 6:30 that evening, I returned from the local farmer's market with a loaf of bread and fresh milk. As I reached the gate, I heard music blasting from inside the house. It was loud, obnoxious rock music, a genre Kevin usually hated. That's strange. I thought, is someone over? I pushed the door open and froze. In the foyer, There was a pair of unfamiliar women's high heels. They were a garish, hot pink sheet but flashy. From the living room, I could hear voices and laughter. And then he told me, "You are one fine-looking thing." A woman's voice giggled. So I told him, "You bet I am. A woman like me is hard to find." "You got that right." Kevin's voice boomed. "My Amber is a real star." I slowly took off my shoes and crept toward the living room. In the doorway, I stopped, as if turned to stone. On my sofa sat a strange woman. She was in her mid-20s, with heavily bleached blonde hair teased into a frizzy cloud. She wore a tight, sequin top. Her makeup was thick and starting to smudge from the alcohol. Her lips were painted a garish red. In her hand was a bottle of beer. Next to her was Kevin. He was lounging with a beer of his own. His eyes glazed over, his cheeks flushed. The coffee table was a disaster of food scraps, empty beer bottles, half-eaten sausages, and potato chip crumbs. My clean, white tablecloth was covered in stains. "Kevin," I said softly. They both turned to look at me. The woman hiccuped and giggled. "Ooh, who's this?" The blonde asked. "Your housekeeper." This is Grace." Kevin stammered. We live together, sort of." "Live together, sort of." His every word was a knife in my heart. "Oh, I get it." The blonde waved her beer bottle. "Hey, Grace. I'm Amber. Me and Cave met on the bus. He's a real interesting guy." So, this was her, the Amber from the note. "What is going on here?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. We're just relaxing," Kevin said, getting up from the couch. He swayed slightly. "Or do I need to ask your permission for everything in my own house now?" "Yes, you do." "In my house?" Kevin scoffed. "And who's been living here for 3 years? Who fixed this place up?" "Fixed it up. In 3 years. Have you hammered a single nail?" "Don't you yell at me," Kevin shouted. "And show some respect. We have a guest." Amber giggled and took another swig of beer. "Hey now, no fighting." She slurred. "Let's all just have a drink. Grace, come sit with us." "No, thank you. And I think you've both had enough?" "Ho." Amber's eyes widened. "She's a feisty one, ain't she?" "Cave, you never told me the rules were so strict around here." He told her about me. The thought was agonizing. He complained to her about my strict rules. "Grace, can you not be embarrassing in front of company?" Kevin said in a threatening tone. "Act normal." "You're the one who's not acting normal. Bringing a drunk woman into our home. Getting wasted in the middle of the day. So what? She's a guest. I have to be hospitable. Or am I not allowed to have guests anymore?" "You can have guests. But not like this. And not in this condition." Amber pouted. "What's wrong with me?" she asked. "I'm a nice person. I'm fun, not like some people." I walked over to the stereo and turned off the music. The room fell silent, except for the sound of Kevin's heavy breathing. "Why'd you do that?" Amber whined. "We were having fun. The fun is over," I said firmly. "It's time for you to leave." "What?" Kevin exploded. "How dare you? Who gave you the right to kick out my guest?" "The right of the homeowner." "Homeowner?" Kevin stepped toward me, the smell of cheap beer washing over me. "Have you forgotten who the man of this house is? A man doesn't act like a drunk." "How dare you?" Kevin raised his hand. But I didn't flinch. "I dare," I said. "This is my house, and I want your guest to leave." Where did this courage come from? I marveled at myself. I never used to talk back to him like this. But now, something had changed. My patience had finally run out. Amber struggled to her feet, swaying. "You know what? Cave." She slurred. "Maybe I should go. I don't want to cause a fight." "You're not going anywhere," he yelled. "The one who's leaving is her. I am sick and tired of her nonsense." "What did you say?" I couldn't believe my ears. "You heard me. You're a pain. Always with a long face. Demanding this. Demanding that." My mother was right. I picked up some ungrateful stray. I'm the ungrateful one? For 3 years. I fed you. Washed your clothes. Cleaned up after you. And did I ask you to? You wanted to do it. So you did it. "Kevin, don't talk like that." Amber tried to intervene. "Y'all are acting like children." "You shut up." Kevin snapped at her, then turned back to me. "And you, if you don't start acting right, you can get the hell out of here." "Fine," I said, my voice flat. "Then, you can both go." "What?" I said, Get out of my house. Both of you. Now. Kevin was stunned. He clearly hadn't expected this response. Are you crazy? This is my house. Too. Your house. Where's the deed? Who paid for the repairs? Who pays the water and electric bills? I pay. Pay for what? Name one bill you've ever paid. Kevin fell silent. It was true. In 3 years, he hadn't contributed a single dollar to the household expenses. Strange. Why did I never notice this before? I thought. Or, did I just not want to see it? I was always making excuses for him. His low pay. Problems at the garage, but the truth was, he was just a mooch. All right, I'm not arguing anymore. I said. My voice firm. You have 1 hour to pack your things and get out. Otherwise, I'm calling the sheriff. You wouldn't dare. Oh, I would. Don't doubt it. Amber walked over to Kevin and tugged on his sleeve. Cave, come on. I don't want any trouble. We can go drink at my place. Get away from me. Kevin shoved her. This is all your fault. My fault. Amber looked furious. You're the one who invited me. It's not her fault. I interjected. It's yours. It's because of the complete lack of respect you have for me. What lack of respect? You live in a comfortable house. You have a full belly every night. With my food. I laughed. A bitter sound. Enough. Pack your things and go. And where am I supposed to go? Go to your mother. I'm sure she'll welcome you with open arms. Kevin stood there, swaying for a moment, then spat on the floor. Fine. Let's go. Amber. Let her be alone. She'll learn her lesson. Let her be alone. She'll learn her lesson. The words echoed in my mind, followed by a strange sense of relief. Half an hour later, Kevin had packed his belongings into 2 suitcases. Amber waited for him at the gate, smoking a cigarette. I'll be back. He threatened at the doorway. And when I am, we'll have another conversation. Don't bother. I replied calmly. You won't dare. We'll see about that. The door slammed shut with a resounding bang. I walked to the window and watched them walk away down the dark street. Kevin carried the suitcases, and Amber clung to his arm. When their figures disappeared around the corner, I sank onto the sofa, and for the first time in months, I cried. Is it really over? I thought through my tears. 3 years of my life, I tried so hard I really believed he would change. But he had changed a long time ago, just not for the better. The tears were bitter, but mixed with the bitterness was relief, as if a heavy stone had been lifted from my chest. The whole house suddenly felt spacious and silent. The only sound was the ticking of the clock on the wall and the wind whistling outside. I got up and began cleaning the aftermath of their fun. I collected the beer bottles, wiped the stains from the tablecloth, and opened the windows to air out the room. Tomorrow, I start a new life. I resolved. We'll see who learns their lesson. At 10 o'clock, the house phone rang. I picked it up. Well, are you satisfied now? A familiar voice hissed venomously down the line. It was Sharon, throwing my son out like a dog. Hello, Sharon. I answered calmly. Don't you hello me. Answer me. Are you satisfied? Your son left on his own. Ma'am. With another woman. Lies. Kevin told me everything. You threw him out. He brought a drunk woman into our home. They were having a party in my house. Oh, listen to Miss High and Mighty. And you think you're so much better? Just some divorced woman without even a single child to her name. I've never been married. Sharon. Even worse. Can't even keep a man? And now you've let a good one slip through your fingers. A good man. I thought bitterly. I wonder what her definition of a good man is. Ma'am, let's just end this here. It's not over. You know what? You just be alone. Then you'll realize your mistake. And on that day, you'll come crawling back, begging for forgiveness. I won't be crawling anywhere. Oh, you will. A woman like you can't be alone for long. And Kevin, he'll find a new, decent woman in no time. Well, I wish him luck. You just watch. You're going to regret this. But by then, it'll be too late. I hung up the phone. My hand was still shaking, but not from fear. It was shaking with a newly released anger. I did the right thing. I thought, if I hadn't done this today, I would have been stuck with him until I was old, and he would have only gotten worse. Outside the window, the cold wind howled, but the house didn't feel cold anymore. On the contrary, for the first time in a very long time, I felt warm and safe. I made myself a cup of tea, sat by the window, and watched the rain begin to fall. Washing the world clean. Tomorrow is Sunday. I planned. I'll call Kyle. Tell him what happened. He'll understand. He'll support me. And after that, I would take it one day at a time. For the first time in years, the future didn't look so dark. Saturday at 9 in the morning. Kevin stood on his mother's doorstep with his suitcases. Amber had disappeared last night, claiming she had to work in the morning and quickly calling a cab. Sharon opened the door, dressed in a faded housecoat. Her face was a hard, emotionless mask. "Well, son, had your fun?" she asked, letting him inside. "Mom, she threw me out," Kevin said, dropping his bags in the hall. "Can you believe it? She threw me out of my own house." "Your house?" Sharon scoffed. "Is your name on the deed? Did you invest a single penny in that place?" "Well, no. But I lived there for 3 years. Lived there like a parasite." "You mean?" his mother said sharply. "Didn't I warn you?" They moved into the small, dark kitchen. The ceilings were low, the furniture old. The air smelled of stale food and mothballs. "Sit down and tell me everything," Sharon commanded, pouring her son a cup of tea. Kevin sank into a chair, his head in his hands. "Mom, I met someone." "What kind of someone?" "Just on the bus." "Mom, her name's Amber. She's fun. Cheerful, not like Grace. And so, I invited her over. We had a few drinks, listened to some music and then Grace came home." Kevin mumbled. "And what happened? Tell me straight." "She freaked out. Turned off the music. Kicked out my guest and then she kicked me out, too." Sharon listened in silence, occasionally nodding slowly. "Idiot," she thought. Lived off a woman for 3 years and is now surprised she finally showed some backbone. "So what are you going to do now?" she asked. "I don't know. Mom, maybe get a room somewhere." "With what money? You spent it all on that girl. Didn't you?" "I have a little left. And work. Monday's tomorrow. How are you going to get to the garage from here?" "I'll take the bus." Sharon stirred her own tea, the silence broken only by the ticking of an old clock and a neighbor's barking dog. "I need a plan," she mused. "If I let this go, Grace will never come back. She's too proud. And my son has nowhere to go. That means I have to make Grace give in first." "Listen to me, Kevin," she finally said. "You can go back to her. But not right now." "Why not?" "Just like this. Let her be alone for a week. She'll come to her senses." Sharon spoke with confidence. "She's probably regretting it already. What does she even do?" Sharon thought. "A week should be enough. Grace is used to having a man in the house. She'll get scared on her own, especially in the winter." "You think so, Mom?" Kevin asked, uncertain. "Of course. All women are the same. They act tough at first. But deep down, they're scared. Especially a woman like your Grace. What if she's not scared?" "She will be. No doubt about it. We just have to play this right." Sharon got up and walked to the window. The rain was still falling outside. "Here's what you're going to do," she said, her back to him. "For 1 full week, you are not to go near her. No calls. No walking past the house. Let her miss you. What if she finds someone else?" "Who else?" Sharon turned back. "At her age? In this town, all the good men are married. The rest are drunks. She has nowhere to go." "I'm right," she tried to convince herself. "Grace isn't the type to find someone new quickly. She's a homebody. She can't manage without a man. And after a week, you go to her. Not like a kicked puppy. You go like a man. You explain to her how a good wife should behave." "How's that?" "Mom." Sharon returned to the table. "Listen closely. You tell her, I'm willing to forgive you. But on my terms." "What terms?" "No guests without your permission. No more being selfish and moody. She cooks. She cleans. She does the laundry and she keeps her mouth shut." "What if she says no?" "She won't. She'll understand it's her last chance." Kevin nodded. But doubt lingered. The Grace he saw yesterday was a different person, resolute, fierce. Not the compliant woman he lived with for 3 years. Maybe Mom is right, he thought. Maybe she just had a momentary breakdown. A little time alone and she'll realize what a stupid thing she did. "Mom, what if she really doesn't want me back?" "She'll want you," Sharon insisted. "A woman can't be alone without a man for long. This isn't a city where nobody cares. Out here, if you don't have a man, You have nobody. So, what do I do now? For now, you stay here. Help me around the house. And most importantly, do not tell anyone the truth. You tell people you're staying with mom for a bit while the house gets some work done. Why lie? Because if people know the truth, it will be harder for you to go back. They'll gossip. Got kicked out by his woman. What a loser. And Grace will be ashamed. 2. Sharon thought. If everyone knows she kicked him out, it's a loss of face to take him back. But if no one knows anything, reconciliation is much easier. Meanwhile, at Grace's house, the phone rang. She woke with a start, looked at the clock 10 in the morning. Hello. She answered groggily. Grace. It was the cheerful voice of Ms. Carol. How are you? Dear. Heard quite a ruckus over there last night. I'm fine. Ms. Carol. And Kevin. I don't see his truck. He went back to his mother's house. Lying is so easy now, Grace thought, surprised at herself. I could never lie so smoothly before. For long. I'm not sure. Maybe for good. What? Ms. Carol exclaimed. Honey, what happened? We broke up. Oh, my goodness. But why? Grace paused, not wanting to share the story about Amber. We just weren't compatible. Oh, honey, are you all right? You must be heartbroken. I am sad. But maybe this is for the best. Strange. Grace thought. My mouth says I'm sad. But my heart feels light, like a huge weight has been lifted. If you want to talk, you come on over. You here? We can have some tea. Thank you. Ms. Carol. Maybe I'll stop by later this evening. You do that. Dear. It's lonely being by yourself. After hanging up, Grace walked to the window. The sun was bright. The air crisp and cold. Sunlight hit the raindrops on the leaves, making them sparkle. The air was clean and clear. It's beautiful, she thought. I never used to notice things like this. I was too wrapped up in my own problems. She changed her clothes and went outside. The silence was unfamiliar, broken only by the rustle of dry leaves under her feet and the chirping of birds. Grace picked up the rake and began to sweep the walkway. The work was easy. Quick. There was no one to rush her. No one to criticize. No one to tell her she was doing it wrong. Well, now, Grace, a familiar voice called. She looked up. Mr. Gene, Ms. Carol's husband, was walking over, a small axe in his hand. Good morning, Mr. Gene. Morning, he said. Saw that pile of wood you bought a while back. Hasn't been split yet, has it? Let me give you a hand. Thank you, Mr. Gene. What do I owe you? Oh, heavens no. Child. We're neighbors. We help each other out. Last year when Carol was in the hospital, you brought us dinner every single night. Grace remembered. It was true. Thank you so much, sir. So where's Kevin? Haven't seen his truck. He went back to his mother's. Well, that's all right. A man in the house ain't just for splitting wood. You know, Mr. Gene began to chop. Grace watched the wood chips fly, the neat pile growing taller. See? She thought. The firewood can get split without Kevin. All he ever said was, hire someone to do it. That evening, she did go to Ms. Carol's. They sat in the kitchen, drinking herbal tea and eating banana bread. Tell me what happened. Honey, Ms. Carol prompted gently. Grace told her everything. Note. Amber. The fight. Ms. Carol listened, shaking her head. Oh, Grace, you shouldn't have put up with it for so long. I thought he would change. Men over 30 don't change. Dear, they only get worse if you let them. So what do I do now? You live your life, and you don't pay any mind to what people say. But everyone will gossip. Let them. You did the right thing. You're still young. You're beautiful. You'll find a good man. A good man. Grace thought. What is a good man? Anyway, maybe it was someone who didn't make you feel guilty for being tired after a long day's work. On Sunday, Grace spent the day at home. She did a deep clean, washed the curtains, even repaired a peeling spot of wallpaper in the kitchen. She worked with a sense of pleasure. No one bothered her. No one criticized. This is nice, she thought. I can do what I want, when I want. I don't have to ask anyone. In the evening, her brother Kyle called. Grace, how are you holding up? He asked. I'm fine. Kyle. And Kevin. Has his mom called you to complain? Grace paused. Kyle had never liked Kevin, always saying he wasn't good enough for his sister. Kyle, Kevin and I broke up. What? Are you serious? Yes. Oh, thank God. Kyle exclaimed. Oops, sorry. I didn't mean to say that. It's okay. I understand. So? How are you? You're not too upset. Are you? I'm sad. But you know what? Kyle, I feel so much lighter. That's good. That means you made the right decision. But I am a little scared. Being alone is. You want to come stay with me and Jen for a while? The kids would love it. That's okay. Kyle, this is my home. I'm going to try to make it on my own. All right. But if you need anything, you call me. Anything at all. And I'll be there. Thanks. Big brother. After the call, Grace sat by the window with her tea. Outside, the streetlights were coming on. Tomorrow is Monday. She thought, I'm starting a new life. Let's see how it goes. For the first time in a very long time, her voice held a note of resolution, not resignation. Meanwhile, at Sharon's house, Kevin lay on the narrow bed in his childhood room, staring at the blank ceiling. I wonder what she's doing right now, he thought. Probably crying her eyes out. Serves her right for acting so tough. But for some reason, he didn't feel very confident in his own words. Monday, 8 in the morning, Grace stood at the bus stop, and it felt new. For the first time in 3 years, she wasn't in a rush to get home and make dinner for Kevin. Hey, Grace, where's your fella? Asked Mary, the woman from the corner store who was also waiting for the bus. Haven't seen his truck in a few days. He's back at his mom's, Grace answered calmly. For long. Maybe. Strange. Grace thought. Why can I talk about this so easily now? Before, a question like that would have made me want to cry. At the mill, the day passed quickly. Grace noticed she was less tired. Her hands weren't shaking. Her back didn't ache as much. Maybe it's because the stress at home is gone. She mused at her sewing station. I don't have to worry about what mood Kevin will be in, what I'll cook for him, how I'll keep him happy. After work, she didn't go straight home. She took the bus into the center of town. At the hardware store, she bought a can of paint, brushes, and a small roll of floral wallpaper. At the home goods store, she bought 2 new sets of locks for the front door. Doing some home repairs. Are we? The clerk asked. A home renovation. Grace replied with a smile. That's right. She thought. Spring is coming. A new season. The perfect time. On the bus ride home, she made a plan. First, change the locks. Then, paint the kitchen. It's peeling everywhere. The bedroom needs new wallpaper. And most importantly, I'm going to buy myself a beautiful birthday present. When she got home, she started work immediately, stripping the old wallpaper in her bedroom, sanding the walls. The work was easy and enjoyable. Kevin had always said, why waste money on repairs? It's fine the way it is. She remembered him saying, but I want beauty. I want warmth. And now, I'm going to do what I want. Tuesday, she continued her repairs. She hung the new wallpaper bright pattern of small, delicate roses. The whole room was transformed. Brighter. Warmer. Then she tackled the locks. It was harder than she thought. But Grace patiently fumbled with the screwdriver and screws. Grace. A voice called from the fence. What are you doing? It was Ms. Carol. Changing the locks. Ma'am. Grace called back. Can you manage that on your own? That's heavy work. I can. I have to. I have to. Grace repeated to herself. I'm not a child anymore. By evening, the first lock was installed. Grace turned the brand new key with a sense of pride. Now, no one can just walk in without permission. She thought with satisfaction. My house. My rules. Grace stroked the newly painted kitchen wall. The soft yellow made the room feel sunny. Even on a cloudy day. New polka dot curtains she'd chosen hung in the window. Her choice. Her decision. Wednesday morning. The phone rang. Grace. It's Kyle. Hey. Kyle. I'm fine. Just fixing up the house. Fixing it up. By yourself. Yep. What's up? Nothing, just you want some help. Me and Jen and the kids could come over. Make a visit out of it. Grace's heart soared. She hadn't seen her brother and his family in so long. Oh, I'd love that. Come on over. Great. We'll be there around noon tomorrow. Jen's baking a cake. Perfect. I'll make my green bean casserole. After the call, her mood lifted even higher. She set about cleaning the house with renewed energy. Got to get the house ready for guests. She planned. So Kyle can see that I'm coping. That I'm perfectly fine on my own. That evening, Ms. Carol called. Grace. Honey. There was a man lurking around your fence yesterday. I saw him from my window. A man. What did he look like? Tall. Wearing a dark coat. He just stood there for a minute and then walked away. Grace frowned. The description didn't match anyone she knew. Was it Kevin? A thought flickered. But he's not that tall. And his coat is gray. Probably the wrong house. She said. Maybe. You be careful. Dear. It's dangerous for a woman alone. Don't you worry. Miss Carol. I changed the locks. Good girl. You did the right thing. Thursday began with a pleasant chaos. Grace prepared for her brother's visit. Making the casserole. Setting the table. At noon, Kyle's car pulled into the driveway, decorated with balloons. Kyle. She ran out and threw her arms around him. He hugged her back, spinning her around. Grace. You look great. You look younger. Really? Grace beamed. Absolutely. Said his wife, Jen. Getting out with the kids. You look so much brighter. You always looked so sad before. The kids, 10-year-old Adam and 8-year-old Lily, ran to hug their aunt. Aunt Grace. Lily cried. Where's Uncle Kevin? He's gone. Sweetie. Grace said, scooping the little girl up. Gone for good. Aren't you sad? Nope. Not sad at all. I'm really not. Grace realized with a jolt. Before, just mentioning a breakup would bring tears to my eyes. Inside, Kyle noticed the changes immediately. How? He said, looking around the bedroom. New wallpaper. And I smell paint. I'm renovating. Grace said proudly. All by myself? That's my sister. Need any help? Actually. Yes. I can't get this second lock installed. It's tricky. Let me at it. While Kyle worked on the lock, the women set the table. Jen asked Grace about what had happened. You know, she said. I never thought Kevin was right for you. Why not? He's so immature. Like a big kid. You need a man who will support you. Protect you. And where am I supposed to find one of those? He'll find you. You're beautiful. A great homemaker. And you have a kind heart. Any man would be lucky to have you. Grace blushed. How long has it been since someone complimented me like that? She thought. All Kevin ever did was criticize. The meal was filled with laughter and fun. The kids chattered about school. Kyle told stories from his job. Grace felt genuinely happy. This is what family is, she thought. Not criticism and disrespect, but love and support. Listen, Grace. Kyle said. I have an idea. What is it? December 8th. Your birthday. We are going to throw you a real party. What's there to celebrate? What do you mean? You're turning 33. It's a big deal. We'll all come. Invite some guests. What guests? Your neighbors. Ms. Carol and Mr. Jean. Let's have a proper celebration. Jen chimed in. Absolutely. And we're buying you a new dress. It's time you treated yourself. I don't know. Grace hesitated. Oh, yes you do. Kyle insisted. After everything you've been through, you deserve a good party. After lunch, Jen took Grace into the bedroom. Let's see what we're working with, she said, opening the closet. It was sparse. A few simple dresses, blouses, jeans. This is it, Jen asked, surprised. What else is there? Grace, when was the last time you bought yourself new clothes? Grace thought. I can't remember. Maybe 2 years ago. This won't do. A woman has to take care of herself. Tomorrow, we're going into town and buying you a new dress. With what money? With your money. Stop being so cheap with yourself. Jen pulled a makeup bag from her purse. And right now, I'm giving you a makeover. Why? Because you are a beautiful woman. Who has been looking like, forgive me, a frumpy housewife. Jen sat her down in front of the mirror, styled her hair in soft waves, applied a touch of lipstick and eyeliner. Look at yourself, she said. Grace looked in the mirror and gasped. It was a stranger. A woman who looked bright, vibrant, and confident. Is that me? She whispered. That's you. The real you. When they walked back into the living room, Kyle whistled. Wow. My sister is a knockout. Daddy, is Aunt Grace a princess? Lily asked. You bet she is. Kyle laughed. That evening, as Kyle's family was leaving, Jen hugged Grace tight. Remember, she whispered. You deserve to be happy. Don't you ever settle for less. Thank you, Grace replied, her voice thick with emotion. And by the dress. You have to. I will, Grace promised. After her family left, the house felt especially warm. She walked through the rooms, admiring the changes. This is nice, she thought. Clean, orderly, beautiful, and no one to complain. No one to criticize. That evening, Ms. Carol called. Grace, honey, saw your brother came to visit. How was it? It was wonderful. He helped with the house. We talked and they're planning a birthday party for me. That's right. Life has to go on. Me and Jean will be there. You can count on it. December 8th. Of course. You have to come. Wouldn't miss it for the world. The next day, Friday, Grace went to town and bought the dress. She spent a long time choosing, trying on dozens. She finally settled on a navy blue dress with a delicate white floral pattern. Simple, but elegant. This one is perfect for you, the saleswoman said. It brings out the color in your eyes. Really? Grace twirled in front of the mirror. It's not too much. It's just right. You glow in it. Grace bought the dress, feeling truly feminine. She bought matching flat shoes and a light scarf. How long has it been since I bought something for myself? Just for beauty's sake? She thought on the way home. I was always thinking, why waste the money? But why save it, when I'm the one who earns it? When she got home, she hung the new dress in her closet and admired it. Tomorrow is my birthday, she planned. The guests are coming. We're going to celebrate. And after that, she would see. Outside, the rain had started again. But the house was warm and bright. A small Christmas tree, an impulse buy on her way home, stood in the corner. She put the kettle on and sat by the window with a book. This is good, she thought. So good. Better than it's been in a long time. She thought about her birthday tomorrow. The guests, the new dress. For the first time in forever, the future looked bright and full of possibilities. And in that moment, she knew she never wanted to go back to her old life, no matter what happened. The evening of Friday, December 8th, arrived Grace's birthday. She woke up with a light heart and a smile. Outside, the sun was shining, making the leftover raindrops on the leaves glitter. 33. Grace thought. Stretching. A new year of my life. And what a difference. I started the last one with Kevin. And I'm ending it without him. Strangely. There was no sadness. Only the thrill of celebration. At 10. She began to get ready. Taking the new blue dress from the closet. In the mirror, she styled her hair in the soft waves Jen had taught her. Is this really me? She marveled at her reflection. A different woman, more confident, more beautiful. She set the table for her party pasta salad, fried chicken, a cake she bought from the bakery. She worked with pleasure, unhurried and calm. At noon sharp, Kyle and his family arrived, their car decorated with balloons. Happy birthday, little sister, Kyle said, handing her a bouquet of roses. You look stunning. Aunt Grace is a princess. Lily cried. Almost. Grace laughed. Jen brought a homemade 3-layer cake. This is for you, she said, hugging Grace. To a new life. Adam gave her a handmade card with a drawing of a house and a sun. This is your house, he explained. And the sun, that's you. Because you're kind. Children see the truth, Grace thought, looking at the drawing. To them, I am the sun. To Kevin, I was just a servant. At 1. Ms. Carol and Mr. Jean arrived, bringing homemade pickles and a jar of honey. Happy birthday, dear, Ms. Carol said, kissing her cheek. May this year bring you nothing but happiness. Her happiness is already here, Mr. Jean said, looking around the house. Order, warmth, beauty, and most importantly, freedom. You said it, Jean. Kyle agreed. Freedom is the foundation of everything. They sat at the table. Grace felt like the queen of the party. All eyes, all good wishes. We're on her. A toast, Kyle said, standing up. To my sister. To her courage in starting a new life. To Grace. To Grace. They all echoed. Thank you, Grace said, her voice thick with emotion. Thank you all for being here. This is a real family, she thought. Not people who demand and criticize, but people who support and love you. Ms. Carol shared village gossip. Mr. Gene told stories from his youth, and the kids laughed and begged for more cake. At 2:30, there was a knock at the gate. Who could that be? Grace wondered. Kyle went to the window. There's a man standing out there, he said. Tall, in a dark coat. Grace went to the window. Too. At her gate, a man was standing and staring in. The same man Ms. Carol had seen. Probably got the wrong house. Mr. Gene surmised. The stranger stood for another moment, then walked away. Grace shrugged. The party continued. At 3:30, there was another knock, this time on the front door, loud and insistent. I'll get it, Kyle said. No. Grace stopped him. This is my house. I'll go. She went to the door and looked through the peephole. On her porch stood Kevin. Her heart skipped a beat. Not with joy, but with shock. He's here, she thought. Right on schedule. 1 week to the day. Who is it? She asked without opening the door. Grace. It's me. Open the door. What do you want? We need to talk. Just open the door. Kevin tried his old key in the lock. It didn't work. Grace. The key isn't working. That's because I changed the locks. Why would you do that? Why wouldn't I? Kevin banged on the door with his fist. Open this door. I'm coming in. This isn't your house. What do you mean it's not my house? I lived here for 3 years. Behind her, her guests had gathered. Kyle moved closer. What's going on? He asked quietly. It's Kevin. She whispered back. Want me to talk to him? It's okay. I can handle this. Grace opened the door but stood blocking the entrance. Kevin stood on the steps, looking both confused and angry. He's changed in just a week, she thought. He looks haggard. Older. His coat is wrinkled. He hasn't shaved. Hello, he said, forcing a smile. Miss me? Hello. No. Then why change the locks? What are you scared of? I'm not scared. This is just my house now. Kevin tried to peer over her shoulder into the house. He saw the festive table. The guests. Oh, throwing a party. Are we? He sneered. And you didn't invite me? No, I didn't. Why not? We were together. We were. That's in the past. Kevin fell silent, clearly not expecting this response. He thought I would be crying, begging him to come back. Grace realized. Instead, I'm calm and confident. Listen, Grace. Kevin changed his tone. Let's not be angry. I'm ready to forgive you. Forgive me? For what? For kicking me out. For making a scene over my guest. You mean over your woman? She's not my woman. Just an acquaintance. Kevin's face flushed. Whatever. It doesn't matter. The point is, I'm back. You're back. And where's Amber? Who cares about her? We're done. I see. Incompatible. Grace, stop being angry. I was wrong. I admit it. But things are going to be different now. Yes, they are. How will they be? They'll be normal. I've learned my lesson. Grace shook her head. No, Kevin. Nothing is going to happen. What does that mean? Nothing is going to happen? It means we're over. For good. Are you crazy? Kevin exploded. I came back to you. I'm willing to forget everything. And you're. But I'm not willing. How dare you? Who are you without me? Just some lonely woman. Without you, I'm finally myself. Kevin tried to push past her into the house. Move. This is my house. Too. No. And no. It isn't. Who gives you the right? The owner of the house. You are just a stranger. A stranger, the word, spoken so calmly, made Kevin flinch. Do I really not love him anymore? Grace wondered. Amazed. I look at him and feel nothing. Not love. Not hate. Just a stranger. Grace, don't be stupid. Kevin tried to soften his voice. My mom was right. A little time alone and you come to your senses. Yes, I have. Enough of this. I've started a new song. Kevin. And I like it very much. What are you talking about? What song? The song of a free woman. Kevin tried to shove her again. In that instant, Kyle appeared behind Grace. Is there a problem here? He asked, his gaze fixed on Kevin. Oh, the big brother. Kevin sneered. Come to push your sister against me? I'm not pushing anyone. Grace makes her own decisions. What can she decide? She's a stupid woman. This stupid woman kicked you out, Kyle said calmly. From her house. He repeated. But I have rights. What rights? Kyle stepped onto the porch. Your name's not on the deed. You never put a dime into this place. What rights do you have? I lived here for 3 years. As a freeloader. Not a freeloader. I worked and spent your money on yourself, while my sister took care of everything. Kevin knew it was a losing argument. He tried another tactic. Grace, can we just talk? Alone. Like adults. There's no need. Grace answered. We have nothing left to talk about. What about the last 3 years? For the last 3 years, I was a fool. I won't be a fool any longer. You're going to regret this. Kevin seethed. I'll go find a new, better woman. Go ahead. I wish you luck. And you. You'll end up a lonely old maid. Better to be alone than to be with you. That was the final blow. Kevin stared at her, his face a mask of fury, then spat on the ground. You'll regret this, he muttered. You'll see. Get out of here, Kyle said firmly. And don't come back. Or what? Or there will be trouble. Kevin looked at Kyle's solid, imposing frame and knew it was a fight he couldn't win. Fine, he said. To hell with all of you. I don't need you. He turned and stomped toward the gate. At the gate, he turned back. You just wait, he yelled. You'll come crawling back. The gate slammed shut. Grace and Kyle watched him go. It's over, Kyle said. He won't be back. How do you know? I know his type. His pride won't let him. Not after this. They went back inside. The guests were silent. Well, Grace said with a smile. Let's continue the party. Absolutely. Miss. Carol agreed. A birthday is a sacred thing. Who was that? Lily asked quietly. The old Uncle Kevin. Grace answered. But he's not an uncle anymore. Aren't you sad? Not one bit. My love. Not one bit. And it was true. Grace felt astonishingly light, as if a massive backpack had been lifted from her shoulders. That evening, after the guests had gone, Grace was alone. She cleared the table, washed the dishes, blew out the candles. The house was quiet and warm. On the table sat Kyle's bouquet. On a shelf were gifts from her friends. Grace sat down with a cup of tea and looked out the window. The rain was a gentle patter against the glass, washing the world clean. It's over, she thought. The old life is over. The new one has begun. And I'm not afraid of it. In fact, I'm looking forward to it. Outside, the lights of the neighborhood glowed. In each window was a life, with its own joys and sorrows. And I have my own life now. Grace mused. Not half of someone else's, but a whole woman, deciding her own fate. She finished her tea. Tomorrow is a new day. New plans. New opportunities. A little time alone and you come to your senses. She remembered Sharon's words. Yes, I have come to my senses. Just not in the way you expected. Grace stood up, turned off the lights, and went to bed. Outside, the rain fell. But inside, her house was warm and peaceful. The new song of her life had only just begun. May. Grace stood in her garden, admiring the magnolia tree in full bloom. Its white petals drifted through the warm air. A gentle, fragrant snow. The house behind her gleamed with its new coat of pale yellow paint, crisp white trim, and a new fence. The jasmine and roses filled the air with their perfume. It's beautiful, a voice said from the gate. Grace turned. At the gate stood Ethan, the new engineer from the mill. He was handsome, in his mid-30s, holding a small orchid. Hello, Ethan. Grace smiled, walking toward him. Hello. I was thinking, maybe we could go to the weekend market? The weather is perfect. I'd love that. Just give me a minute to change. Ethan had appeared in her life a month ago. He had moved from the city for the job and was renting a room at Ms. Carol's. He quickly become a welcome presence in the neighborhood. He's so different, Grace thought as she let him in. Calm, considerate, and most importantly, respectful. Tea. She asked. I'd love some. And I brought you this orchid. I just picked it up at the market. Thank you. It's lovely. Ethan sat at her kitchen table, looking around. Your home is so warm. It has a woman's touch. I did it all myself. This past winter and spring. That's incredible. Not every woman would have the courage for that. Grace made the tea, thinking about how her life had changed. After the new year, she'd been promoted to shift supervisor. More pay. More interesting work. She had plans, dreams, and most importantly, the fear is gone. She mused. The fear of doing something wrong, of displeasing someone. Now, I just live, and I enjoy every day. What are you thinking about? Ethan asked. About life, about how much has changed. For the better. Definitely for the better. They drank their tea and talked about work, about plans for the summer. Ethan suggested a trip to the coast. What would people in town say? Grace hesitated. Why should we care what they say? We're adults. He's right. She thought. Why care about the opinions of others? You only live once. An hour later, they were driving out of the village in Ethan's car, the road winding through fields of greening corn. Grace, Ethan said, I saw your ex-boyfriend yesterday. Kevin. Where? In town. He was with a woman. She was pregnant. Grace was surprised to feel nothing. No pain. No jealousy. Maybe it was Amber. She thought. Or someone new. It doesn't matter. How did he look? He looked okay, but a lot older. And like he's been drinking hard. I see. And you're not worried? No. That's another story now. Not mine. Ethan nodded in understanding. You're right. The past should stay in the past. They stopped by a river. The water rushing over rocks. Birds sang in the trees. It's so peaceful here, Grace said. Sitting on the grass. It is. You know what I like most about you? What's that? That you know how to be happy. Simply. Without needing a special reason. Grace considered his words. Yes. I've learned to be happy. She realized. Before, my happiness depended on Kevin's mood. Now, it depends only on me. And, aren't you afraid, Ethan, to be with a woman who has a past? You were never married. And besides, what does it matter? What matters is who you are now. And who am I now? You're beautiful, smart, independent, a rare woman. Grace blushed with pleasure. How long has it been since anyone said that to me? She thought. Maybe no one ever has. That evening, Ethan drove her home. At the gate, he paused. Grace, I just want to say, I'm very happy when I'm with you. Truly happy. Me too, she said. So, maybe we don't have to rush. But we don't have to waste any more time. Either. Do you know what I mean? I think I do. I'd like to get to know you better. If you'd like that, too, I would. Grace smiled. Ethan kissed her gently on the cheek and left. Grace stood at the gate for a long time, breathing in the scent of the blooming magnolias. Is this what happiness is? She wondered. The kind you read about in books, where your heart feels light and you want to sing. Inside. She made her tea and sat by the window. The streetlights came on. Somewhere, children were playing. Over the past 6 months, so much had changed. Her house was beautiful and warm. Her job was fulfilling. She had new friends, plans for the future. And most importantly, I stopped feeling sorry for myself. Grace realized. I stopped thinking I only deserved scraps of love and respect. On the table was a postcard from Kyle. It was Adam's birthday tomorrow. Grace had already bought him a new bicycle. It's good to have family, she thought. A real family that loves and supports you. And somewhere in town, Kevin was sitting in a rented room, drinking a beer. Amber had left him for someone else. His new girlfriend had a mean streak. His mother berated him daily for ruining his life. It was Grace's fault. He thought bitterly. If she hadn't thrown me out, everything would be better. But Grace didn't know that. And she didn't want to. She finished her tea, turned off the lights, and went to bed. Outside, the leaves rustled. Far away, she could hear the faint sound of music. Tomorrow is a new day, she thought as she drifted off to sleep. And it will be a good one. Because I want it to be. And because I deserve it. The spring breeze rustled the curtains, carrying the scent of jasmine and magnolia into her home. And in Grace's heart, a new song was playing. The song of a woman who was free and happy.